Hi everybody, Anna Sakrisson here from Green Roof Diagnostics. Today I want to talk about green roof return on investment because frankly speaking we need to talk about this because few people actually have the money to just build a green roof because out of the goodness of the heart and because for the good of the world. But there are several strong financial incentives to build a green roof, and today I would like to talk about detention, which basically is a clear return on investment for a green roof, especially in urban areas. In rural areas, not so much, and that's what we're going to explain now. I have these fancy props with me as usual from a box of my old granny here. Now this is your land that you have purchased, and you need to deal with stormwater from all of this land. That basically is normally you have to deal with all the stormwater on site. What comes out here, stormwater, has to comply with the stormwater regulations and is often has to be below a certain maximum allowable outflow rate. Here in Berlin, I know it's set to somewhere between 1 to 10 liters per second and hectare. And that can be different in different areas, but that's approximately what it is like. Anyway, so this is your land. You got to deal with this, okay? So now, you can choose to put a bioretention cell here, you can choose to put a tank or a cistern, or you can choose to put a detention type green roof. A detention type green roof basically is a special type of green roof that slows the outflow of water even when the roof is saturated. Normal non-detention green roofs do not do this, but they're great at retention, and that's a topic for another day. Anyway, so here you have your land. And you are in an urban area, so land is super expensive and you want to make use of all of this land or as much as you can. So now, like putting a huge bioretention pond or a massive stormwater tank here, that's going to basically remove floor space for you and it's going to cost you some money. So now, when does a detention roof make sense? Well, it makes sense if land is expensive because then you can deal with your stormwater on the roof so that you don't have to buy these like really expensive tanks and ponds, or at least you can reduce them with the detention roof. But it depends a little bit on how big the roof is and compared to the surrounding area. Now, if your roof, okay, this is my little mushroom picking book, I love it, but if your roof is as small as my little mushroom picking book here and it just makes up that big portion of your total area, or it might be a big roof because your area might be huge, that's another option. But in this scenario, the detention capacity of this roof is great and it might support the other stormwater solutions that you have at grade, but it probably won't remove them because the poor proportion of roof to area here is just too small. So you got to deal with other additional stuff here. This roof can still make sure that, for example, the velocities are reduced so that your green stormwater solutions like bioretention ponds, which I really like, they're really cool, and bioswales and other solutions that you have function better. So it's a great scenario that you can have these treatment trains as well. So it's not like an either or situation here. It's more like how to connect these solutions together in the smartest and most financially and ecologically sustainable way possible. Now, another scenario which is often very likely in an urban area where land is expensive is that your building might take up this much space in comparison to the surrounding, to your area. This is a lovely book, by the way. It's about nature forms as an art, basically. Anyway, back to the topic. So you have this huge area covered, and now the roof is suddenly taking up a huge portion here. So like having detention capacity on the roof here now might be enough, which means that you don't have to build any tanks or cisterns or bioretention ponds or anything upgrade. It's enough to manage the stormwater on the roof. This means that this space is freed up for maybe additional development, which means that you can make money out of that land, basically. And that is the ROI for the detention type green roof. One example in New York City is, for example, that many buildings there have their stormwater tanks in the basement. And once they could be freed up and you can actually manage the stormwater on the roofs instead, that meant that they could make parking spaces or a fitness studio, or I don't know what you can make with that space, but you can In New York City, a few parking spaces that will basically pay for that green roof in the shortest time span possible. So this is basically one of many ways that you can create a return on investment with a green roof. It is by far not the only way, but it is one way. And I'm happy to talk about other ways, like for example, energetic savings, which is very relevant now in the energy crisis here where I'm in Europe. It's I just moved into a gas heated apartment, and I am scared of the winter to come because it will get really, really, really expensive. There's a lot of ways to create an ROI with green roof, and detention is one of them. Okay, thanks for that. Bye bye.